Hello mouses, I've been ill so I've been away, but I'm back now and hopefully, even though I'm not actually 100% back together and all well, we can at least get back to making some videos. Today what I want to talk to you about is this Trans Manifesto that came out a week or so ago, and I've avoided talking about it because the main thing I want to do is not cause trouble with the rest of the trans community, because I do not back this document. And I'm going to tell you why. Now let's start with the fact that I've never even heard of the consortium that put this out. I've been around for over a decade in trans activism. I've been a member of most active trans groups in the UK. I founded a charity that prevents people committing suicide, provides information to help them with legal and medical troubles, things like that. And I've never heard of these people. I've heard of some of the groups that are part of this group, but never heard of this group. So I was wary at the moment that this appeared, that it appears to be a bunch of groups that aren't political, and in some cases really shouldn't be political. One of them is a civil service group, and there's one thing that a civil servant should not be: it's political. They're meant to be neutral, they're meant to aid in the correct and proper running of the country, but they're not meant to be political. It's one of the reasons why they have protection in their jobs. They have job security, they have protection from the consequences of decisions. The politicians are supposed to take the rap for whatever goes on. The civil servants are just meant to carry out instructions, but they're getting political by being part of this group that is trying to force a political manifesto. So that's dodgy ground already, which raises alarm bells for me considering the rest of this document. Let's have a look at what's actually in it. Now, the first three things I'd say are pretty straightforward, and I think we can all get behind these 3 points, which are dignity and respect. We want to regard trans individuals as equal citizens with equal rights. Trans people are equal citizens, trans people should have equal rights. I think we can all get behind that. Trans people as people have the same rights as everyone else. That's how it should be. We know it's not, that's why I and many other people like me have been doing a lot of political work to try and make it so. So I can get behind that. Empower trans individuals to be authorities on all aspects of their own lives. Now, to be honest with you, the majority of the time, trans people, like everyone else, are authorities on their own lives. However, there is a major area of trans people's lives where they are not able to be self-empowered, which other people are. And that's regarding medical treatment. If you want to be able to get treatment for being transgender, you have to jump through every hoop that every dickhead in the medical profession decides to throw at you. So I can understand why this empowerment thing is in there. I think we can agree with that one as well. Let's have a look at the third point. Imagery. Encourage diverse, representative, realistic and positive portrayals of trans individuals. I have said so many things about the media's portrayal of trans people that, just to find my opinion, you just have to look back in a few videos. The media makes a farce out of depicting trans people. We are a joke to them, we are monsters to them, we are the whore that gets stabbed on a murder investigation program. That's pretty much the limit of trans depictions. We are not portrayed well, we are horribly portrayed. So I can imagine that there'd be a lot of people who would agree with a better depiction of trans people in the media. So we can go with all of these and say, yes, that's perfectly fine, we will agree with all of them. So why don't I back the document? Because it doesn't end there. This is the problem. This is leftist crap, and this is the problem with it. These three very general, very nebulous ideas, which we can all back because they're so nebulous that you can put your own views onto them, are culminating in 2 points that this manifesto wants. A commitment to include positive images of trans individuals in all central government publications to increase the visibility of our communities. No. No, no, no. Do not start with this leftist crap about quotas. Quotas are ridiculous. They are a joke. They are what you do when you can't be bothered to actually do things properly. Quotas are the kind of thing that leads to, oh, we're advertising, so we need a white man, a black woman, and someone who looks disabled. So what actually do we get in this? We get a white man, a white woman, and they're smiling, and next to them is a slightly darker skinned person, probably a man as well, because we don't want to upset the men by having too many women on this picture, and he's probably also going to be in a wheelchair, because of course he's in a wheelchair, that's how you show he's disabled. That's the go-to thing. He's a two-for-token minority. We don't want that with trans people. I hate quotas. I will never agree with anyone who thinks quotas are a good idea, because that person is an idiot. I like the idea of more visibility for trans people, that's fine, but I will not go with the way that they're saying it, which clearly leads to quotas. The second point they want: A commitment to review the Gender Recognition Act 2004 with a view to loosening medical requirements and removal of the spousal veto. Well, guess what? I've been fighting for that all my political career. I know several other trans people, none of whom were involved in this document or even consulted on it or even told that there was something coming up that would lead to it. None of us were told. We're all active in the political community. Several of the people I spoke to are actually political people either in a political position or standing for a political position. None of them were consulted on this. None of them were asked about it. None of them were told that this was coming. But we've all been fighting for everything that this says, so why weren't we informed? I'll tell you why we weren't informed, because we weren't part of this consortium that does this. Because no one knew this consortium existed. Apparently it's a charity. It's a registered charity, so it's got income of over £5,000 a year. Never heard of them. We're all active, very active members of the trans community, members of the trans political community. We are all very much political activists. Never heard of them. But they're wanting to push this on the government. And the thing is, yes, I've already been fighting for the spousal veto to be removed. I've got documents going into the Ministry of Justice this week about why we should remove it. I've been fighting for changes to the Gender Recognition Act because it's a joke. So I can back this. I can't back the quotas, but I can back the ideas of this part. To an extent. There is nothing in here about how we're going to change what the medical requirements are for gender recognition. Because I'll tell you right now, I don't think there should be any. And I'll go even further. I don't think we need a Gender Recognition Act. What we need is one thing that says if you get a diagnosis that you have gender identity disorder or whatever they want to call it in the medical profession, we should be able to change our birth certificates there and then. I don't think we're going to get that within the next 10 years. But I'm fighting for it. But I don't need this piece of paper to tell me to do it. And I won't sign up to it because of that. This document is unnecessary. Parts about the spousal veto I can back, but I was already backing them, and work is already progressing. The parts about the Gender Recognition Act I can back, but parts of that are already progressing. So what's the point of another document from a bunch of people who really shouldn't be involved in politics, or if they want to be involved in politics, shouldn't be part of the civil service? But I don't need a document from a bunch of people who I've never heard of, who aren't actually active in politics in the way that actually does anything about it, apart from shouting outside buildings. I don't see why I need a document from that, and it's not going to do anything apart from split the community. So now the government thinks there's another set of people that they have to talk to, instead of coming to the people who can actually talk to them through parliamentary channels, or through local council channels, or through local association channels. One of the standard political routes. They've got to talk to some other people as well. We've already got Press for Change for that, and I noticed that they aren't part of this. You know why they aren't part of this? Because they back the spousal veto. And there again, you see, we've got another split in the community. We don't need a split in the community, we need unity. And we can't get that through nebulous little groups splitting off and doing their own little thing and then announcing it as if it speaks for the whole community. That's the biggest part of this. We didn't ask for this. We didn't know it was coming. And they're presenting it as if it's the community saying we want this. We don't. Don't try and speak for all of us. And that's all I've got to say on that one. I don't back this document. Some of the principles, yes, I can get behind them. But I don't like what it says, how it wants it, or the fact that it's presenting itself as if it comes from the community, and it doesn't. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you did like this, and if you did, remember to click the like button. Share this with your friends so that they know that this isn't something that we all back. And do subscribe for future videos, because there will be more in the future. But until next time, I've been Kirk-Robinson, you've been watching The Knob Man Show, and I'll see you tomorrow.